What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Harry the Horse Barbecue, and today we're cooking up some full spare ribs, and we're going to be doing a rib rub comparison to decide what kind of rub you should be rubbing on your ribs. Keep it locked.
Harry the Horse Barbecue.
So here we have a full rack of spare ribs. Generally, when you're cooking spare ribs, there's two types. You can get St. Louis cut or full spare ribs. If you buy St. Louis cut, you're just pretty much paying for labor so that they take kind of the rib tip meat off of your ribs, and they're generally more expensive than just full spares. All right, so when we start trimming, we always start on the back end and kind of just, I'm fanning everything out with my hand. The first thing I really want to take off is this breastbone plate right here. That separates out this gross cartilage breastbone from the actual ribs. My next cut, you could see all of this kind of gross fatty stuff. We want this gone. Our next cut is back here. This is called the skirt of your spare ribs, and all we're gonna do is take it off. Now this is good meat. I've actually smoked this individually before, and if you don't keep an eye on it, it becomes really tough. Last thing I'm gonna do on this back end side, we've talked about this before, is deal with this membrane. Some people swear by taking it off, some people swear by leaving it on. I'm just gonna score it, kind of get the best of both worlds, okay? A few lines running down the back, a few going the other way. It doesn't have to be precise, because I'm in a rush. Okay, last cut on my back end side here is this little corner. We don't want any sharp edges, we don't want any corners on anything we throw in the cooker, so we always want things to be rounded as best as we can. So I'm gonna take that little corner piece off, and that says goodbye. If you look here, all of this right here is too thin and too irregular, so it's gonna burn up on our cooker. So we're gonna make kind of one clean line across. I like to draw the line and then kind of go back over it. This way we can start to separate it out. And there we go. Now we have a clean edge to our spare ribs. If you look along your ribs, it kind of looks like rib meat, rib meat, rib meat, and then you get this weird fatty patch right over here. This is from a different muscle. This is kind of weird. You can leave it on, but there's a lot of fat and not much meat here. So I like to trim it down. And just like that, you've trimmed down your full spares to a nice full spare rack. These are still full spares. You still have the rib tips attached, but they're a lot cleaner and a lot better for eating. Now all we gotta do is get our rib rubs on these racks of ribs. Our rib rubs are as follows. In this container, we've got 1 part of a native Texan rub, 1 part salt, and 2 parts black pepper. Next container, we've got 1 part Lowry seasoned salt, 1 part kosher salt, 2 parts black pepper. In this bowl here, we have 1 part Memphis rib rub, 1 part kosher salt, and 1 part coarse black pepper. And then lastly, in our last bowl, we have 1 part Carolina High Country barbecue rub, 1 part kosher salt, and 2 parts coarse black pepper. So all the rubs have 2 parts coarse black pepper, 1 part kosher salt, and 1 part of some other kind of seasoning, whether it's the Lowry's, the High Country Carolina, or the Memphis rib rub, or even just the native Texan rub. Okay, that's the ratio for all the rubs. They're all the same, with that 1 part being a different style of rub that we're testing out. So as we season these ribs, we always hit it with some Q glue first. This is my go-to binder. It's got mustard, pickle juice, a lot of different spices, made by Savory Spice. This is a go-to binder. This is what I use on every single thing that I cook. Now that these ribs are all seasoned up, let's go and throw them on the cooker. I put 2 racks on the bottom and 2 racks on the top. So that's from when I spilled water. This is our native Texan rub. Next on is the Lowry's, High Country, Carolina barbecue. Last up, Memphis rib rub. All right guys, it's been about 2 hours on these ribs. Let's open it up, take a look. All right, so we can see that these are getting a really nice red color on them. They're not looking too dry. I'm gonna spritz the spots that look just a little dry. You can see how these are a little bit darker. That could be the nature of the rub, but also the top of my cooker is quite a bit hotter. But let's give these a spritz. All right guys, we're 3 hours in on these ribs and I'm suspecting that they're ready to be wrapped. Let's take a gander. Oh yeah, those are looking really nice. Nice and red color on there from all that smoke. I think we're ready to wrap. I don't want them to get any darker than how they look right now. So we're gonna get them in some foil. We got a little special technique to wrap them. So what we're gonna do when we wrap these, I'm gonna spray the foil with some of our apple cider vinegar and water spray. Then I'm gonna hit it with a little sauce, it's just a store-bought sauce, diluted half with apple cider vinegar. And then whatever the key rub that we put on those ribs, I'm gonna sprinkle some of that rub in the wrap as well. So first up, let's hit the Lowry's. We're gonna do the same thing for the rest of the ribs. Come check it out. All right, now that they're all wrapped, we're gonna close it up. We're gonna come back and check on it in about an hour. That'll be the 4-hour mark and we'll see how these ribs are looking. But until then, we just let them go until they're tender. All right, it's a little over 4 hours. Let's take a look inside. So we wanna check the ribs on the top rack first because that is the hotter part of the cooker. You see how flexible these are? To me, these are done. It's so hot. These guys too, nice and flexible. I think these are done too. I think they're all done. 4.5 hours almost. We're gonna take off the Carolina as well. We'll bring you back when we slice into them. Close her up. All right guys, so after about 4.5 hours on the cooker and about an hour rest, we are ready to slice into these ribs. The first one up is our Lowry's season mix. Ooh. All right, so these ribs are looking really juicy. You saw all that juice come out of that wrap, all that sauce mixed with the fat. Let's slice these up and see what we got. Let's take a look at our Lowry's rib. Nice pink smoke ring in there. You can see the salt, the pepper, kind of this orangish color that formed. Let's see how we did. That's a good rib. Clean off the bone right there with that bite. Salty, peppery. Got that kind of kick from the Lowry's. It's a good rib. Let's move on to the others. Now onto the native Texan rub. Let's see what we got here. Look at all this juice in this wrap. You smell that? It smells completely different. These look nice. Look at all there's just juice running all over the board here. These ones were some juicy ribs. Let's slice into them. Let's take a look at the native Texan rub up close. Oh yeah, nice pink smoke ring in there. Looking pretty similar, but I think they look a little redder on the outside, but still nice and peppery, nice and salty on that outside. Let's see how we did. Completely different smell than the Lowry's. Here we go. I like this better. Right off the bat, I like this better. Not super clean off that bite, but still a super tender rib. Let's keep moving. From Texas, we're moving over to the Carolinas. Let's check it out. Again, completely different smell coming off of these. I love that. I love that these are distinctly different, even though they look pretty similar. A lot redder. Can you see that? Mm-hmm. These ribs they're getting redder by the minute. These ones look like a nice mahogany red color. I'm gonna put them down into the juice and slice into them, and then we'll taste. All right, Carolina High Country Barbecue, looking nice and smoky on the inside. Nice and red on the outside. Here we go, see how we did. This is good. Sweeter. This is definitely a sweeter rub. Nice and clean off that bone. That's a good eating rib. Definitely a sweeter rub. Let's take it to our last and final rack of ribs. All right, here we go. Our Memphis rib rub. Now Memphis is known for dry rubs. This is definitely a drier looking rub than the others. Damn, that smells herby. It smells like there's a lot of herbs in that rub. Good looking ribs though. Not as much juice in the rack. It's a Memphis dry rib. Definitely, you smell that? It smells like rosemary, you know? The juice on this board is incredible. I've never made ribs where it's like this much fat. I know we put some spray, some apple cider vinegar and stuff, and some sauce in the wrap, but man, these are some fatty, juicy ribs. Here we are with our Memphis rib rub. Nice smoke ring in there. Similar color to the last ones, kind of reddish, but looking nice and juicy. Here we go. Very good, but probably my least favorite. It's got a little too much going on. It's like herbs and spices. I think just a little bit too much going on, but still, if you handed me this is a good rib. So thank you guys for tuning in to Harry the Horse Barbecue. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're new here, and if you like what we're doing with this channel, make sure you give that video a thumbs up if you like spare ribs. I like spare ribs. If you give any of these recipes a try, let us know in the comments below which rib rub you tried and which one is your favorite. And if you're cooking stuff up at home or just want us to cook something in particular, tag us on Instagram at Harry the Horse Barbecue. We'd really love to see what you guys are cooking up at home. Now I got 4 racks of ribs that I gotta eat. Don't know how I'm gonna do it, but we'll catch you guys in the next one. We're out of here. Peace. That was good. It's a good eating rib. Finger licking.